Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning to all of you and those who are in America, and here it is night. So I'm Bittu Mandal, and I'm a PhD scholar here at Indian Institute of Technology in Indore. And today I'm going to present a paper from my PhD work. That is, the title is Prolong our Urban Exposure Associated with Elevated Obesity from the rural to urban migrants in India, and using the data from the last year. So worldwide as well as India, there has been a significant increase in the prevalence of obesity in the last decade. And now, why studying obesity is important? Because obesity poses significant risk for a number of illness. This includes type 2 diabetes mellitus, hypertension, strokes, some types of cancers, and even death. Now, not only this, obesity also poses a significant challenge to the psychological mental health, as well as obesity also limits the ability of affected individuals to engage in daily activities. So it also affects the functional health as well. It also affects the functional health as well. And in addition to that, you see that migration to urban areas. My title is the rural to urban migration. So migration to urban areas is an important thing in developing countries. So, and the debate on the health implication of the urban life for the migrant, it has been a long-lasting debate. So some scholars argue that the migration to urban areas benefit migrants with better access to healthcare and all. And on the other hand, some scholars argue that moving to urban areas deteriorates their health status. Now, rural to urban migrants has considerably in focus for potential reasons for a variety of health problems, because rural to urban migrants also associated with different kinds of non-communicable disease like hypertension, different cardiovascular diseases, some renal disorders, even some chronic kidney diseases and others. So comparatively with few research investigated the impacted rural to urban migration and obesity outcomes in low and middle income countries. Some noteworthy studies has already happened in like China, as in Ghana, and in other low and middle income countries, but not such study in India until 2007. There has been a single study on rural to urban migration and effects on the health status of the migrants. And since then, there has been no such study. And among all this study, the focus on mainly because on younger age groups. But in LASI, here we able to capture the middle and older age groups who have been migrated and their health implications in India. So for that study, I've taken the LASI data, which is specifically focused on the adults who are 45 and above in their age. So for that, then we have a introduction of LASI data from the earlier presentation, so I'm not gonna present it again. So coming to the here again, sorry. So this is the sample selection criteria what I have done in study. So the total respondents were around more than 3,000, and after excluding the missing values and those who are not internal migrants, as we have the focus of our study was on internal migration only. So the international migrants were excluded from the study as well as the missing values. So the final sample selection, final sample was around 31,000 population. Now our main outcome variable is obesity. We measure the obesity through BMI, and as deposition of some adipocyte tissue to some specific areas also poses a significant risk to the non-communicable disease. To have to capture that, we have also used the waist circumference. Now, in body mass, in body mass index, we have used the WHO defined criteria, that is obesity, those who have a BMI over 30. And for waist circumference, for women, it is 88 centimeter, and for men, it was 102 centimeters. And the migration status was captured in Lasi through several steps. So first we have those who have responded that how many years you have been living continuously in this area. That means for the recent move that as a migrant has made, we have captured that. Then again, those who are coming outside India, we have explored them since the focus of our study on my internal migration. And the other migrants, those who are moving to rural areas as well as urban to urban areas or urban to rural areas, who excluded them, we already kept the rural to urban migrants. So coming to the results, covariates list, we have adjusted this covariates in our study, and we have used the logistic regression as quantile regression to so the risk of obesity among the adults. We have used the logistic regression, and to see the effect on the distribution of BMI, we have used the quantile regression. Now coming to the results, we have seen that the red line showing the rural to urban migrants, the urban non-migrants. The blue line is showing the rural to urban migrants, and this golden color line is showing the rural non-migrants. So we've seen that rural to urban migrants and urban non-migrants. Here it is rural to urban migrants has an elevated obesity. Then this rural non-migrants. Again, this is for the waist circumference. We can see a similar picture like BMI score that rural to urban migrants and urban non-migrants. Basically, rural to urban migrants has elevated or at least skewed waist circumference scores than urban non-migrants. So urban rural non-migrants means rural stayers and rural to urban migrants. Once there has been a single background. Now they have moved to rural urban areas and see their effects on their waist circumference as well as BMI scores. Now coming to if we break down this rural to urban migrants in years, we can see the effect of urban exposure on their obesity over the years. So here in this graph, we can see that the total and the this is showing the uh, prevalence of total population. This is the male, and this is the female population. This is the female population. This is male, and this is the total population. The prevalence of obesity for rural non-migrants, and here it is urban non-migrants. It is 13.19. It is 2.16. So as the duration of urban residence increases, this is recent migrants up to 5 years. This is rural to urban migrants of 6 to 10 years, and those who are moved to urban areas for 10 or more years. So you can see there is a gradually increasing BMI scores, the obesity over the years as they were moving, as they were living in urban areas. So as urban exposure increases, the prevalence of obesity also increases. It is also evident from our regression results that if you see that the odds ratio for in reference to the rural non-migrants, those who are living in urban areas for 5 or less years, the risk of obesity is 1.91 times higher. If they are living in 6 to 10 years, the risk of obesity is 2.05 times higher. And those who are living 10 or more years, the risk of obesity is 2.40 times higher. There's a significant increase from those who are living in rural areas. Now, if you see the quantile regression results, you can clearly see that in the distribution of BMI, as since we move to 10th to 19th percentile, the distribution of BMI, you can see there is increase in the risk of obesity. And if we divide that this percentiles into the obesity scores, that is more than those who have obese, that means the BMI scores has more than 30, we'll see that 75th and 19% will get the similar results, that as urban exposure increases, the likelihood of obesity also increases. So this was for the BMI results. Now if we see the waist circumference, we can see the similar results as well. Now, for the word odds ratio, that means the logistic regression presents in those in reference with the rural non-migrants, those who are moving to urban areas, that means rural to urban migrants, those who are living in 5 or less years, that means recent migrants are likely to have 2.38 times higher waist circumference scores. The risk of waist circumference, abdominal obesity is 2.38 times higher than that of rural non-migrants. Those who are living in urban areas, for 6 to 10 years, the likelihood of abdominal obesity is 2.86 times higher. And those who are living in urban areas for more than 10 years, the likelihood of abdominal obesity is 2.8 times higher than that of their rural non-migrant counterparts. And we can see the similar results as well for the quantile regression as well. So these were my findings that as urban exposure increases, the likelihood of obesity, uh, it is overall obesity as well as the abdominal obesity, both are increases as the urban exposure increases. So the urban exposure has a significant effect in after controlling a number of factors to the rural to urban migrants in India. So these are the major findings that overall around 2.6% of the rural migrants, 13% of the urban non-migrants, and 13% of the rural to urban migrants found to be obese. And we found that the longer urban exposure significantly increased the risk of obesity among rural to urban migrants. And among the rural to urban migrants, females, those were retired persons, those who belong to poorest and richest strata of monthly per capita consumption expenditure, those who are physically inactive, those who have a mobility impairment, those who have sleep problems, were at a higher risk of obesity. So these are my take of findings. Thank you so much.